supper, but to her it was breakfast. And never once did she come to see my little league team play. 'Cause Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. Those men would give her money just to shake her butt around. The other kids in school didn't treat me worth a damn. 'Cause Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. I know my mama loved me as much as any mother could. She came home from work to help get me off to school. So many times I saw her crying as I got on the bus. Although I never said a word, she knew the kid treated me cruel. 'Cause Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. Those men would give her money just to shake her butt around. The other kids in school didn't treat me worth a damn. 'Cause Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. And she was the best. Suburbs and have nice neighbors all around. The children love their grandma. She helps get them ready for school. Their mama works at night. She's a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. 'Cause Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. Those men would give her money just to shake her butt around. The other kids in school didn't treat me worth a damn. 'Cause Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. Singing one more for Blondie. Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. Those men would give her money just to shake her butt around. The other kids in school didn't treat me worth a damn. 'Cause Mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. 'Cause my mama was a dancer at the Claremont Lounge. Take it out, Mama. The men in the corner want a table dance, Mama. Don't you let them touch you, Mama. I love you.
Well, dude, it's good to meet you.
Yeah, great to meet you. Thanks for having me.
So I started to do my research. I don't normally do a lot because I like the conversation to be more organic. But dude, you have been on the music scene for a long time. I love, of course, Barbecue was one of my favorite bands.
Oh, cool.
Truckers, of course, I still love. I was a late bloomer with as far as the Drive-By Truckers went, but just a whole litany of acts you play with. When you moved from Savannah up to Athens, was it purely to play music, or were you coming up to go to school?
That was to play music, yeah.
Cool. When did you make the transition from regular guitar over to pedal steel?
Well, it was right before I moved up here to Athens. I'd been playing guitar, and I played in bands in Savannah. Mm-hmm. I had a lap steel that I got from a guy I worked with when I was working at a furniture store in Savannah. And my sister was dating William Tonks. And he was in a band called Redneck Greece Delux. And their pedal steel player, Dave Phillips, was leaving the band to move to New Orleans. So they needed a pedal steel player, and I was really into the idea of getting one. So I got a student model, the Showbud Maverick. A lot of steel players. It's a lot of steel players' first guitar, entry level instrument, and so I got that Halloween of '94, and then I moved to Athens the day after Christmas of '94, and started playing with Redneck Greece Delux. I had already filled in on guitar for some shows with them, so I was kind of familiar with their songs. And then Yeah, I just moved up, and then it wasn't long before I started playing with Patterson and the Starroom Boys.
When I see your friends out dancing, they will ask me where I've been and tell me you were sad and lonesome, wishing you were mine again. And if I see you walking downtown, I will turn my eyes away, but you will shout me down the sidewalk. And if I'm to stop, then you might say, baby, take me home, 'cause it's so sad to be alone. I'm so sorry if I have hurt you, what I've done. Honey, I was wrong. Our love's not gone. Now I know how you were just the only one. And if I get your answering message when I call you on the phone, you will write to all my old addresses, trying to find out where I've gone. Oh, darling, it's me. Please just have some sympathy, and I promise I will never act so wild. Please take me back if your heart's still got a crack where I left it being foolish like a child. But I can't get your new phone number, and I never go downtown no more. And honey, I just can't dance this brokenhearted. So I just wait by our front door. Baby, please come home, 'cause I can't stand to be alone. We'll let bygones be what they were yesterday. Baby, please come back. You'll be betting at a one-horse track, 'cause I'm the only guy who'll ever love you this way. Yes, I'm the only guy who'll ever love you this way.
And then after that, Japancakes,
Yeah. Did you know Swamp at the Georgia Theater?
I did. Yeah. Yeah.
I worked there for a couple of years with him, just a riot of a guy, but he was a huge Starroom Boys fan.
He was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hung out with Swamp a good bit.
He's a nut. It was me, him, Amy Edwards, and Brian Crane.
Oh, yeah.
And Jennifer. I forget Jennifer's last name, but I had a little too much fun.
Is it Jennifer Strickland she was related to Keith Strickland of the B-52s?
Oh shit!
Because there was a girl that worked at the Georgia Theater, was friends with them. I think that might have been Jennifer.
She had red hair, maybe. It's been a long time.
I'm not sure.
It could be.
Yeah.
She's changed. I think her last name changed.
Okay.
I'll dig into that. Now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by. To be completely honest with you, I didn't realize that you had been with the Truckers as a founding member of that group. Mm-hmm. I'd watched a documentary on the band. It sounded like to me that, obviously Cooley and Patterson put a lot of work into it. It sounded like, though, he was getting really close to giving up on music had Southern rock opera not been the quote unquote success that it was. But what was that time like for you? That was a wild band.
Well, I wasn't in the band at that time. I played on Gangsta Billy and Pizza Deliverance, and I quit right as they were finishing up Pizza Deliverance. So I wasn't on Southern Rock Opera, and that was kind of the record that kind of broke the band, I guess, or led to bigger things. Those first two albums, I can't even remember which one was first, but I joined the Starroom Boys and started playing with Drive-By Truckers when that band was formed, right around the sent time. And it was kind of like I kind of had to make a call because both bands were getting busier.
Yeah.
I went with the Starroom Boys and then ended up rejoining.
Coming back. 06?
06. The very beginning of 06, the end of 05. I think I played I played Denver with them New Year's Eve of 05. And then I think they did a Europe trip without me right after that. Other than that, I was full time with them.
Yeah. There was a lot going on, too, with that band, because when did Jason leave? It was like 07?
07, yeah. So Jason and I were in the band together for 1 year in 06.
And Shauna left in 11?
Or 12, yeah.
Maybe, something in that area.
Right.
And then you went and did a thing with her, Eye Candy.
Right.
Which was cool. I was checking that out today.
Yeah.
Around in circles, fall down to the ground. Little Linda, I can tell that you feel bad. Linda, please. We haven't moved our home out for the love of a little baby. How could we ever know that way would make us crazy? There ain't no one around that even looks like he's a daddy. You're so young and wild, won't you let us help you, please, Linda, please. I've seen you kick and I've seen you try to bite. Little Linda, you don't know which way feels right. Linda, please. You sacrificed your body, we sacrificed our land. Little Linda, you could use a helping hand. Linda, please. Well, you can't live on grass and weeds when you got a swollen belly. How could we ever know that weight would be so heavy? There ain't no use in waiting around, now things are gonna get easy. You're so young and wild, won't you let us help you, please, Linda, please. We up and moved our home out for the love of a little baby. Let's help you please Linda Peace.
There's all these like little side streets
Right.
that people go down, and I didn't realize that she had. I mean, I knew she'd gone out and done her own thing, but I didn't realize you had
Right.
helped her with that.
Right.
Group. How's she doing? Do you still talk to her?
I haven't talked to her in a little while. Yeah. I hear she's doing well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What is? I'm fascinated by this instrument. Like, is the pedal steel? Is it a standard tuning like a regular guitar, or is it a totally different beast?
It's its own thing.
Tell me about it. Like what?
It's the tuning that I play is E9, which is it's the most standard of the pedal steel tunings. It's known as E9 Nashville tuning. It has every note in an E major scale plus a flat 7. It has a D in it, and the pedals and knee levers. It has knee levers too. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, see, I don't know anything about this.
But they do the same thing that the pedals do, just to different strings. They'll either raise or lower. And I could show you. It won't do you any good for your podcast, but I have one in there. You're welcome to check it out.
Okay.
After this, so you tune the open strings at the key head just like a standard guitar, and then at the end plate on the other side of the guitar, there are these nylon hex nuts that you tune with a hex wrench.
A wrench, yeah.
Yeah. So you can precisely tune where the bend stops. And the most basic change that you hear that you recognize in pedal steel is the 1 to a 4 chord or an E to an A chord, because there's a G sharp that you push a pedal and the G sharp becomes an A, and there are 2 Bs and the Bs become C sharps. So if you play any guitar, it's like holding an E chord and then going to an A chord.
Okay.
And then there are knee levers and there are other pedals that do all kinds of other things. You can get lots of chords in just one position.
Takes a lot of concentration.
Yeah, so it's played with a slide, so it's like if you can imagine moving a capo up and down the neck.
I was watching you during that Nowhere show, and in other places where I've seen you. And you're pretty intent on those strings.
Right.
There's not a whole lot of room for error. It looks like.
Right. I mean, I guess maybe some other players can look more, like they're having fun, but I get comments about that. Like, why are you look like you look so serious? I'm like, this thing's hard.
It's definitely work.
Yeah, I can show you.
Yeah,
if you
please.
want.
A few moments later.
So that's not just you moving from guitar over to pedal steel. I mean, there's a learning curve.
Yeah, and I was really lucky to like the people I played with. They were really sweet about not minding me kind of sucking at it because it sounded bad. I mean, it's still a challenge these days to be in tune. Boy, some of my playing back then was really rough. And that was one thing that was really cool about Patterson, because he was kind of like, I don't know if he meant this, but he always said that he liked the fact that I didn't sound like a slick Nashville player, just, kind of had my own sound. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that was nice.
I was today years old when I realized, like, Louisiana Truck Stop is one of my favorite albums.
So, yeah.
with me. When I get behind the wheel, I know what it is to be free. My baby, go faster. I love you. Zoom, zoom, zoom. My sweet thing, I love you. Little floater.
Didn't know that there was Rhythm Oil and Ditch Lily.
Oh, right.
Not on streaming, so I'm going to have to find them and
Right.
somehow get them on my phone. But now I know I'm missing out because I thought that was the only album that you guys did.
Right.
So
And William Tonks may have copies of those.
I'll check
you
with
been
him.
you're going to be in touch with him?
He's at Nucci's a lot. I'll catch him.
is, yeah.
I'll get with him on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so okay, so you had to make a decision. Sticking with Star Room Boys.
Right.
I was sitting here thinking, I bet it was hard being the better looking guy of Drive By Truckers, and Cooley wanted that spot, so you left.
I don't know about any of that. Just joking.
But you've played with Allman Brothers Band, Bloodkin.
Well, Allman Brothers was the Truckers opening for Allman Brothers.
Okay.
I think in Charlotte, and they asked if any of us wanted to sit in, and I was like, well,
Hell
of course, yeah. So I played on one song. It was Southbound, and it was really cool because I got a
Great song.
check in the mail a few months later because they were selling CDs of their shows at shows, and I got a check in the mail from the Allman Brothers signed by Greg Allman.
Oh shit.
For $100, and that was before I did. It was before I would scan a check and deposit it that way. So I deposited it, so I don't have the check anymore.
Damn it.
So I know that's a shame, but that was very cool, obviously.
But you've been on Conan, but like a bunch of TV stuff.
Yeah, I did. With all the TV stuff was with the Truckers. I did Conan twice. Did once in New York and once after he moved to TBS and had his. He was up on the the Paramount lot in LA.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I did Fallon twice and I did Letterman twice with them.
That's killer.
Yeah.
I love that 2012 solo album that Patterson did. I have to look up the title, but
Oh yeah.
Come Back Little Star.
Yeah.
That whole album was really nice. I feel like that's probably one of my favorite things that he's put out, just because like he's singing and then he's some songs and then others he's kind of back to that grungy style that he's got. But
That was a cool album for sure.
yeah. And you add in your slide, I think it really made that song. Untold Pretties.
It started raining just as I dropped her off at her car. The sun was on the cusp of rising and it was still cool from the late winter, but the days were now warming into springtime. She walked halfway to her car, then turned around and looked at me and smiled, then ran back to my window as I rolled it down for her to stick her head in and kiss me one more time, then run back in the rain to her car, get in and drive off. I sat there for a time with the rain starting to drizzle into my open window, sitting in the parking lot of the Southern Touch, thinking. As far as I'm concerned, it was the last time I ever saw her. Drive out to the funeral to bury my granddaddy, it began to snow. Growing up in North Alabama, it seldom snowed. Sometimes a couple of years would go by, sometimes it might snow twice in a season, but it was still a novelty. The sky was as gray as an open cord and as plaintive as fog in black and white. My granddaddy always liked snow, and somehow I did too. The drive was out the old Savannah highway, which was still 2-lane then. We wound around Dead Man's Curve, where that lady from the Sunbeam bread wrapper was killed in a head-on back when I was little. Out past our family's farm to the little Methodist church, where once upon a time my grandmother had gone to Sunday school. The same humble structure that witnessed their marriage for 42 years, and where just a few years ago I'd gone to youth group and Methodist Youth Foundation campouts, hay rides, and lock-ins. Maybe I thought about that sad snowy morning and burying my granddaddy those few years later as I drove home in the rain. Home to my fiance's bed, just a few weeks shy of getting married, with the taste of an old high school sweetheart lingering on my lips and fingers, and the rain started pouring down. Out of the sky like a wonderful wrath from God, a God who might spite me even as I turned from his grasp and shun his embrace. I was plotting an escape that I was still a few years away from having the guts to pull off. Years later, that realization became a personal hell that followed me around for a while, and then didn't anymore. You can only carry hell around so long before it gets to be a drag.
I'd done an episode with someone from Nucci Space, and I was like looking for this song, like what was I going to use as like the outro of that episode, and Come Back Old Star. Just I don't know what he's singing about, but it seemed really appropriate talking about Nucci Phillips.
You're right.
You know, so that was a really good one. But yeah, so when did you go back to the band? When did you rejoin?
2005. Well, okay. 2006. I played New Year's Eve with them in 2005, and then just kept going pretty much until when I left, which is what, the 2012. Mm-hmm. It was like a year after Shauna left.
What being those guys are, you know, Cooley and Patterson are write a lot of songs, mm-hmm. And it seemed like your style of play. I don't know how you categorize that. There's like a little bit of country influence in the way that you play. I don't know if that's accurate, but it seems to fit what they were doing at the time perfectly.
Mm-hmm. Thanks.
But, yeah, absolutely. So Phosphorescent, Jerry Joseph, you played with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Superchunk?
I played on one song on a Superchunk record.
And you did a little bit with Panic, it sounds like.
I played, I sat in with them for a couple shows. One of them was, I think I was down in New Orleans playing with Bloodkin, and they were playing at the big, wherever they were playing. And
UNO probably.
Yeah, that's right. And I sat in on a couple songs with them, and that was super cool. And then years later, after I rejoined the Truckers, we opened for them in Macon, I think it was. And I played on another song or two with them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's neat to see this newest iteration of Bloodkin with Betsy and Tori kind of picking up Danny's part and pushing forward. But you knew him, you know, before he passed away.
Oh yeah.
What was your relationship with Danny, and how, like, what was his, just being around him, what was that like?
You know, he's a super sweet guy. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't as tight with him as he and Eric, of course, because no one's
right.
But no, he was just a sweet dude. He just called me and asked if I wanted to do some playing. And back when I started playing with Barbecue with Todd, mm-hmm. we would do shows together. We would do trips with Bloodkin, and that's when I started getting to know them. You know, we'd all jump on stage with each other's sets, and then that led to me playing on some of the records. I played on Community Gospel, mm-hmm. Rehab, and one or two others back then, and then later on I'd play on some more. But yeah, I played with them back in the 90s, and sometimes I would just like be not just when Barbecue was doing shows with them, like I'd go play a show with them at Smith's Old Bar or wherever. Yeah, and then once I got busy, once I rejoined the Truckers, I kind of stopped doing that. And William Tonks was a full-time member for that stretch. Mm-hmm. And then around the time that like I left the Truckers, finished doing the stuff with Shauna, William was wanting to not travel as much, so he quit, and that was just a perfect opportunity for me just to kind of slip back in.
Yeah.
On guitar and pedal steel, because he played guitar and dobro with them.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you see Crumpy at all? I heard he moved down to Augusta, or is it Macon? Macon.
I think Macon. I think his sister lives in Macon. I think he. I don't know if he moved in with her or just wanted to be closer to her.
Gotcha.
And I still see him all the time. Whenever we play Nowhere Bar, he's always there. So
good.
Hopefully he's still continuing to get back up, because I always love seeing.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, he is.
He was always super nice to me. I was just a little kid running around, but he was always super cool.
Oh yeah.
Working with Todd, I've only had an opportunity to speak with him once or twice, but he seemed like another sweetheart of a man. That
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you sing on any of those albums, or was that Mills? Sometimes
I sang, usually back up.
Okay.
But William and I did a lot of harmonies together. We all sang.
Okay.
On all that stuff.
I'm gonna have to get those other two albums. Yeah. Now I feel like I'm ill prepared because all I have is Louisiana Truck Stop.
I know, it's so weird that those aren't on Spotify.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been fixed by now.
Maybe I'll spearhead that campaign.
Yeah, you should. I mean, William would be the one to get that going, and he knows that it needs to be done. Yeah, hit him up.
All right. What are you doing these days? I mean, I know you're still out there actively playing, but are you splitting time between Bloodkin and what other projects you work on?
Bloodkin, Kimberly Morgan, York.
Okay.
I still do the Mike Mills Concerto, and less frequently the Night of Georgia Music shows. I think we have another one of those coming up at the end of the year. Doing those and some other occasional things, and I'm doing a lot of recording from home. I have an interface in my room, so if someone needs pedal steel on their track, I can do it from home.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm doing a lot of those actually.
That's fantastic.
It's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're just hanging out in the country and
Yeah.
do your shit remote, literally working remote.
Yeah. It's nice. I should mention there's another thing that I've been doing with Jay Gonzalez.
Okay. Oh, yeah, Jay's nice.
Yeah, and Grady Thrasher. Grady Thrasher has been writing lyrics for a long time, and Jay and Grady met, and now so Jay has been putting his lyrics to song. So Jay's writing the songs, writing the chords, making them songs, and there's a band that records them. We do 1 or 2 songs. We meet once a month. That's been really cool. And it's not really, it's all on YouTube. It's Sunnybank Farms is the YouTube channel.
Okay.
So definitely check that out. It's really good stuff. It's really good musicians.
I'll check it out.
And good songs. Yeah.
Okay. When you think back to like the bands that you've been in and the work that you've done, which is a lot, are there any particular albums that you're particularly fond of, maybe more so than others throughout your career?
Yes. Getting to play with Booker T. Jones that's definitely one of the highlights of my time playing music.
Tell me about him. I don't know a lot about him.
Booker T from Booker T and the MGs.
Okay.
Stax.
Okay, yep.
He was in the Stax band, and then he had an instrumental called Green Onions in the 60s. That was a pretty big hit, and you would recognize it if you heard it.
I'll look it up.
So we played on a record of his called Potato Hole, and then we went to Australia with him, and then the record won a Grammy for Blues Instrumental Album.
Wow.
Of the year. Yeah, it was super cool. Yeah,
I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah,
I wasn't real familiar with Japancakes either, to be honest. So I'm gonna have to look that up as well.
Oh right, yeah,
yeah.
So that's mostly instrumental stuff.
Okay.
That features cello, pedal steel. It's like very ambient kind of stuff.
Where was Booker from?
He was from Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah. And then he moved out to the Bay Area in the late 60s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That Mississippi Delta region seems to be real chock full of blues.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
I always wondered, like, I think I asked Cody Dickinson one time about that, and he was like, man, it's the people.
Right.
I didn't press him on that because that seemed like a solid enough answer, but
right.
A lot of good music comes out there. But then he was quick to remind me too. He's like, Georgia's nothing to scoff at, like between Augusta and Macon, and
absolutely.
I was quickly reminded that we have a lot of heritage here too. Yeah. What do you do in your spare time? What do you do when you're not playing?
I have a dog. I play a little tennis.
Oh, Sam Holt told me that you guys used to play together.
Oh, Sam is so good. Sam is so much better than me. I mean, usually, even if I play tennis with somebody who's much better than me, I feel like I'm not wasting their time. But I was wasting Sam's time.
I never was worth a shit at tennis.
I'm a little bit better at ping pong. I have a table down in the basement.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your relationship to David Barbie, obviously you've had the opportunity to work with him a lot. And I think I asked Eric the same question, but I'm curious to get your take. Like when you have somebody like that, that's sort of, I don't want to say directing traffic, but somebody that is a musician who knows a lot about recording, like what does that do for a band that you're in that's looking to put your ideas on tape? Like is with his experience and stuff, is it, what role does a producer like that play in
He makes everything happen. He makes everything easy. Depending on how developed the ideas are, you know, he steps right in. He figures out what's there and what needs to happen, and he does it. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. Any upcoming dates people should know about?
Let's see. I'm playing with Kimberly Morgan York this weekend in Asheville and Wilmington. Playing Highland Brewery in Asheville and Satellite Bar in Wilmington, North Carolina. And gosh, I've got playing 3 times at Athfest on the Saturday, playing with Jonathan Spencer, this new thing that he's been doing, and Kimberly Morgan York. And I haven't mentioned the Bad Ends. I've been playing with the Bad Ends.
I've heard they're awesome.
They are awesome. It's great stuff. Yeah.
I think Vanessa from Pylon said check them out.
Right. It's super great stuff.
Okay.
And I just played on 3 songs on their last record because it was almost finished, and they already had a full band together. Bill Berry played drums on the first record, but he's not with them as he might occasionally sit in, but John Swin has been playing drums with them recently, and he's fantastic. And the new record is really, really good. I'm really excited about it, and we're playing the Georgia Theater that night. That's the last of the 3 shows that I'm doing.
I'm gonna have to come check that out.
That Saturday.
I've been pretty impressed with the way they rebuilt the theater. I mean, it was always, the old theater was nice, but I always felt like the balcony was going to collapse at some point. But they did a really good job, and it seems like a lot more people are playing the 40 watt more so than at the theater. Just me observing from the outside.
I don't know about that because
maybe not.
I mean, I do play. I just don't get out as much as I used to. But Nowhere Bar has been kind of the spot.
Yeah.
Recently for the bands that I play in.
They got that nice big stage now.
Yeah, it's got the PA's gotten better. George he's just so good to bands, and yeah, the sound system's really good. The 40 watt, of course, the 40 watt's amazing. Yeah, I played there recently with the Bad Ends actually.
I'm gonna check them out.
Yeah.
Is there anybody new that you're listening to right now that people should be checking out? Bad Ends, obviously, one this new album they're doing.
Right. I don't have any hot tips on any up and coming bands. I didn't mention, but I played with the Pink Stones for 2 records too, and I quit playing with them a little over a year ago, and they're great. Neil is kind of still with them. I think they just went to Europe without them because it needed to be a streamlined lineup. But yeah, they're great. I really like Madison Cunningham. You know her? Yeah, it's really cool. She's really great.
Okay.
Cool guitar player and great singer-songwriter.
Well, man, it's really good to meet you. I mean, I'm sure I could, to be completely honest with you, I sat down, and when I started to look into your background, I was like, holy shit, this guy has done a lot of stuff with a lot of groups, and I'm very thankful that you would have me come out and talk to me for a little bit, because you didn't have to, and I think it's awesome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun. Thanks, great.
That's quick.
Pretty painless.
Yeah.